After securing her dream job as a children's dance teacher, Emma's joy turned to shock when her mother-in-law, Diane, sent a mocking congrats gift. Determined to prove her worth, Emma orchestrated a public reveal that left Diane pale-faced and embarrassed, forever changing their relationship. "I always loved dancing. Ever since I was a little girl, I felt alive when I moved to music. But my family insisted I get a real job. So, I became an accountant. It paid the bills, but it never made me happy. Deep down, I always dreamed of teaching dance. One evening, after another long day at the office, I sat at the kitchen table with my husband, Tom. I found a job listing for a children's dance teacher," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Tom looked up from his newspaper. "Really? Do you think you'll apply?" "I want to," I said. "But what if I'm too old to start now? What if they don't hire me?" He shrugged. "You'll never know if you don't try." His words stayed with me. That night, I filled out the application. I wrote about my love for dance, my years of informal teaching at community centers, and why I wanted this job so badly. I hit send and felt a mix of fear and excitement. Days passed. I checked my email constantly, my heart racing every time I saw a new message. One afternoon, my phone rang. It was the dance studio. My hands shook as I answered. "Hello, is this Emma?" A cheerful voice asked. "Yes, this is she." "Hi, Emma. This is Kelly from Bright Steps Dance Studio. We'd love for you to come in for an interview." I nearly jumped out of my chair. "Thank you so much. When can I come in?" Kelly invites. We set a date for the interview. The days leading up to it were nerve-wracking. I practiced answers to potential questions and imagined myself teaching classes of eager children. The interview went well, and a few days later, I got the call. I got the job. I couldn't wait to tell Tom. I did it. I got the job. I burst into the living room where he was watching TV. "That's great, Emma," he said with a small smile. "I'm happy for you." I wanted more excitement from him, but I was too thrilled to dwell on it. We planned a family dinner so I could share the news with everyone. At dinner, I stood up, heart pounding. "I have an announcement," I said. "I got a job as a dance teacher at Bright Steps Dance Studio." My sister, Amy, clapped. "That's amazing, Emma. Congratulations." My father nodded. "Well, if it makes you happy." But Diane, my mother-in-law, just sipped her wine. "Is that a full-time job?" she asked, her voice dripping with skepticism. "It's part-time for now, but it could lead to more hours," I explained. She said, clearly unimpressed. "Well, good luck." Her words stung, but I tried to brush them off. A few days later, a package arrived for me. It was from Diane. I was hopeful it was a peace offering. Maybe she had changed her mind and wanted to support me. I opened the box and pulled out an old, worn-out ballet costume. There was a note inside: "Congrats on your new hobby." My heart sank. I felt tears prick at my eyes. I showed it to Tom. "Look at this," I said, my voice shaking. "Your mom thinks my job is a joke." He looked at the costume and the note. "It's just her way," he said. "Don't let it get to you." "How can I not?" I snapped. "She doesn't respect me or my choices." Tom sighed. "Just let it go, Emma." But I couldn't. I was hurt and angry. I decided I wouldn't let Diane's mockery slide. I planned to invite her to one of the dance studio's performances. I would make sure she saw how serious I was about my job. A few weeks later, I called Diane. "We have a dance recital coming up. I'd love for you to come and see the kids perform." There was a pause on the other end of the line. "All right, I'll be there," she said, sounding wary. Diana talks to. I smiled to myself. I had a plan, and I was determined to show Diane just how important my new job was to me. The dance studio was buzzing with excitement. Kids in bright costumes ran around, giggling and practicing their moves. Parents were busy chatting and snapping photos. I was in the middle of it all, making sure everything was perfect for the performance. I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Today was the day I would show Diane how serious I was about my new job. "All right, everyone, gather around," I called to the kids. They circled around me, their eyes wide with anticipation. "Remember to smile and have fun. You've all worked so hard, and I'm so proud of you." "Miss Emma, I'm nervous," one little girl said, clutching my hand. "You'll do great, sweetie," I reassured her. "Just remember your steps and enjoy the music." As the kids lined up backstage, I took a deep breath. The audience was filling up the seats. I spotted Tom, who gave me a small wave. Next to him was Diane, looking around with a slight frown. I walked over to them. "Hi, Diane. I'm glad you could make it," I said with a smile. "Of course," she replied, her tone flat. "I wouldn't miss it." "Hello, Mom," Tom said, trying to ease the tension. "Thanks for coming." Diane just nodded, her eyes scanning the room. I left them and went back to the kids. The lights dimmed, and the chatter in the audience died down. It was showtime. The music started, and the first group of children took the stage. They danced beautifully, their faces lit up with joy. I watched from the side, my heart swelling with pride. This was why I loved dance. The energy, the passion, the pure happiness on the kids' faces. It was magical. After the last group finished, I stepped onto the stage, my heart pounding. I took the microphone and smiled at the audience. "Thank you all for coming today," I began. "I want to thank the parents for their support and the kids for their hard work. It's been an amazing journey." I glanced over at Diane. She was watching me closely, her expression unreadable. "I also want to give a special thank you to someone who has been incredibly supportive," I continued. "My mother-in-law, Diane. She sent a very generous gift that inspired today's costumes." "Thank you, Diane." There was a murmur in the audience. Diane's eyes widened, and she shifted uncomfortably in her seat. The parents around her looked confused. Some of them nodded in appreciation, while others whispered to each other. Diane stood up abruptly and walked out of the hall, her face pale. I finished my speech and handed the microphone back. The rest of the evening went by in a blur. Parents congratulated me, the kids were over the moon, and the energy was electric. But all I could think about was Diane's reaction. After the performance, Tom found me backstage. "Emma, what was that about?" he asked, concern in his eyes. "I had to show her that I take my job seriously," I said. "She sent me that old costume to mock me. I couldn't let it go." Tom sighed. "I understand now. I just wish things didn't have to be this way." My Mill decided to announce her pregnancy at my wedding and spoil it. My sister took stone-cold revenge on my behalf. Poor man houses family in his old trailer during storm, finds dozen of boxes near home. Next day ballet teacher mocks new student, not realizing her famous ballerina mom is watching me too, I said softly. But maybe now she'll think twice before belittling my choices. That night, as we got ready for bed, I felt a mix of satisfaction and relief. I had stood up for myself and for my passion. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Diane didn't bring up the performance again, and there was a noticeable shift in our interactions. She was distant, but I hoped that in time, things might change. Happy for now, I focused on my new role at the dance studio. I had found my calling, and nothing was going to take that away from me. Charged my husband's old phone and saw a teenage photo of our new nanny. I thought I was losing it until I called my Millie, put my husband's old phone on charge and went through it expecting to find embarrassing photos of him as a teenager. Instead, I discovered a shocking connection to our new nanny. What I found turned my world upside down and led to a revelation that left me questioning everything about our marriage. I was cleaning out the junk drawer in the kitchen. You know, the one where all the random stuff ends up. Old receipts, expired coupons, and mystery keys. As I sorted through the mess, I found my husband's old high school phone buried under a pile of outdated chargers. It was dusty, and I vaguely remembered he said it was broken years ago. Curiosity got the better of me. I thought it might be fun to see if it still worked, so I plugged it in. To my surprise, the screen lit up almost immediately. I couldn't resist taking a look. What kind of teenage treasures might be hidden inside? Embarrassing selfies, silly texts, or photos from his high school days? The possibilities were too intriguing to pass up. I settled down on the couch, ready for a little trip down memory lane, not knowing that what I was about to find would change everything. Read the rest of this story here. This work is inspired by real events and people, but it has been fictionalized for creative purposes. Names, characters, and details have been changed to protect privacy and enhance the narrative. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental and not intended by the author. The author and publisher make no claims to the accuracy of events or the portrayal of characters and are not liable for any misinterpretation. This story is provided as is, and any opinions expressed are those of the characters and do not reflect the views of the author or publisher.